Hi, I'm Oliver Patrice Weder and I've had the pleasure to play Westwood's old grand piano throughout the last few days. The team has tasked me to write a slightly happy and hopeful track and break it down. So I'm just going to play down what I've written and then we're going to look at the sounds I've used, how I've used the old grand, a harmonic analysis, and in the end we're going to look at how I approach the mix as well. I hope you enjoy it. So I'm starting my piece out, of course, with the old grand piano. And what I really like about the feature here is that it really lets you make your own sound. So you have the piano here. You can choose between, how much felt you want or no felt at all. By the way, for a really detailed rundown of the library, check out the walkthrough where you can get to know all the features. But yeah, I like this function here. So you can have like a really clear grand or a felted grand. Then we have some really nice mixes. Usually when a developer presents mixes, I'd go immediately for mix one. They're mix one for a reason. And I like how it sounds. I've added a little bit of this microphone here, soundboard. So that's a U47 on the bottom of the piano, and it gives it quite a nice touch. I'm just going to solo it for you to hear. Just as a little kind of texture there, or an extra timbre. Then you have your reverb, quite nice reverbs to select. I've chosen the hall here, quite a natural one to start with, and then you have all these textures. So if you hold Shift, you can layer these textures, as many as you like, with the piano, and so it's like a custom kind of extra reverb in a way. So at least that's how I use it. And there is, within the texture preset there is two textures, so you can switch between these two. And you can go in here, change the volume as well of this. So let's say that's a little loud for me. You can also change that the mod wheel here does the dynamics. So you can change the volume basically by changing the mod wheel there. So I leave it here by the texture with a assign to the texture. So we're going to the other one. Oh, I love just assigning things to the mod wheel, wiggle it, and something magical literally happens. So again, you can choose as many layers as you like. So going from that to literally having it as a kind of a normal, in quotes, piano to something more like that. I find that quite a versatile idea there. However, so my intro, I've started this with the piano and the texture. I've decided to put the texture on a different channel so I can automate that channel. And just mix-wise, I have a bit of a better overview. Okay, I know this is my dry piano signal and this is the texture I'm laying it with. So I have this, started out with this organum preset. So there's some really nice presets for you to choose up there. And then from there, I tweaked my sound. And so it's quite a lovely... Then on my next section here, I'm changing the sound a little bit. This texture, Banjis, has a little bit more of a reverby quality to it. It's like playing a plate reverb pretty much, and that's the way I use it. Very important to me is filtering out the low ends. It sounds quite nice if you have the low ends in general, but... It's got some sort of choral quality to it. But for me, is when I play and improvise with the piano and the melody kind of sits on top of the chords, then I like that when I play the chords high up. So you have this really kind of icy feel just on the top, and the low end is not muddy in that sense. So I'm slowly switching from this organum preset here, fading it out and fading in my new texture there, which stays the piano sound throughout. The piano itself, my compressor setting here, short attack, short release, threshold, kind of medium, so it doesn't kick in that much, but when it kicks in quite dramatically. My EQ, again, the piano sounds rather lovely without as well. But it's just a creative choice there. I'm filtering out the low ends, minus 2 or 3 dBs around 1 kilohertz. It's kind of my preferred setting. Here taking out a little bit the muddiness, but actually it's not muddy at all. So this is just, again, a bit of a creative choice, as well as this one, 4.5K. I like kind of the hammer sound, the mechanics, a bit more kind of air and clarity up there. So I push it. It looks dramatic, but it's just 3 dBs there as well. Then here, my piano on the left comes in, a little bit of kind of a rolling melody. Again, I'm using a texture here to accompany it. It's being faded in. It's just very soft, and I almost use it as like a slapback delay on the other side, so it's panned opposite. Very, very subtle detail, but at the time I wrote it, I really liked that kind of sound. Then another counter kind of accompaniment comes in there. Together with the main one. And here in this texture here, the banshees, I've automated the texture slider here to go into the other texture. Again, as mentioned, so there's 2 layers here, and I've automated this so you get a bit of a distortion, almost sounds like a guitar feedback. Quite liked it for that transition there. Just very subtle. Then I have some higher voices there of the piano doing some harmonization there, minor thirds mainly. Quite like the sound of that. And counter movement, so this one goes up and the main melody goes down, so it crosses over. Oh, so lovely, just the piano it's by itself. Adding another texture there, liminalis, quite lovely. If I play this for you just on its own. Losing myself in the sound, I guess that's a good sign. It's quite nice and inspiring there. Then I'm doing a string arrangement down here using their Blackwater ensemble strings, Fires it's called. Again, I'm just going to play you a little bit of this. Using the room and gallery mics, again, choice of different reverbs there. I'm panning this to the left because this is basically my violin line there. I'm doubling up the section there with the Untamed strings. Really lovely, some improvisation. So you have a bit of a variation in the performance, and I'm a sucker for this. I really love kind of using sample libraries like that because it gives just a much better sense of realism and performance there. So really nicely done. So if you hit the keys softly, the improvisation is much more gentle. And if I hit it harder, it does something more dramatic, like going more sul-pont, doing more tremolo. Very, very lovely detail within this library. I'm doing the same with the viola section and with the cello section. Here, just to play a little bit of the cello Untamed section. Similar concept there. Very cool. Very, very cool. Love this. And then I have rotor cello in here that actually comes in already a little bit earlier. Rotor cello are cello rhythms. It's quite cool. So if you play on the off, it creates all these interesting kind of polyrhythm or interwoven kind of rhythms, and this one's just a single note, just building up towards that middle bridge there. I think it sounds quite cool together with these ones here. So again, that's just going on all the way through, but I just want to play you the string arrangement only, just for you to listen to. Then down here, I'm using the flugelhorn, also really nice, solo brass Untamed. Same concept here with the improvisations. This really lovely warm tone. I'm a big fan of the flugelhorn. It's kind of subtler and a little raspier than the trumpet, but it's not saxophone either. So it's, yeah, just really, really, really lovely sound there and really nicely captured as well. And this improv function there is very inspiring. So then as the bass, I'm using solo strings Untamed. Usually I would use a sine wave, an octave below my lowest bass part. But they have this in here and it's just rather fat and amazing. So it's solo strings Untamed, the bass here, and I'm using this glue function. It's very gentle and creamy, and it's just really nice when it comes in here. The brass or the flugelhorn really adds that sense of hope, right? And yeah, really like that touch there. Alt choir, just to create a little bit of a bed. Human voice, always lovely to include it. And again, the improv function there. Just going to play a tiny bit for you. And the vowel function as well is kind of the mouth closes as the dynamics go lower, which obviously makes sense, and then it kind of opens up and shines nice and brightly there on the top. Very, very, again, very user-friendly, jumps out of the box. This is my kind of library there. For the drums here coming in as well, Blackwater drums. Doing actually, yeah, some tuning there, -3 octaves. Here, some percussion, Untamed, and then a thing called Trom, which, you know, I've got to actually take this off because, meaning taking my effects off, because I've got quite a few things on there. So I've got this tuned down an octave. Let's tune this up. Take my kind of radio EQ off. I've got a black hole. Immersive reverb on there quite a lot, and then a stereo delay to create this kind of ping pong effect, and then a hall as well. And without, it's actually really punchy. So actually really, really useful drums, very nicely produced and recorded there. But again, I have a different style of track for this one. And so this kind of production here suited quite well for me. Again, let's put this back down. Oh, here, an octave down. So, and just the drums by themselves. Opening up the filter just a little bit here via automation. Again, just subtle details, but it keeps composition interesting, especially if it's a little kind of, let's say, flat in structure or it repeats sections. You always want to change something. String arrangement, little enhancements like this. Again, here I have volume automation here of this sound. This one is a little bit more. It's a little wide and it's a little more reverby, and so I bring this up and then take it out again. So this brings us to the middle section where I wanted to shine a light onto the piano only. So again, here sounds of these two tracks here stays the same, but I'm also adding another texture here. I'm taking out the low end here. I have a tremolo on there, so that's why you can hear it kind of shifting from left and right. This kind of almost distorted or slightly distorted sound. Again, black hole. I like using black hole immersive for creative reverbs, like extremely long and kind of washed out. And that's the sound I want to achieve here. This repeats this section, and then we're going back into the main bit of the track here. Just really, really lovely. The flugelhorn there is quite jittery, and the tone almost breaks, and it really adds to the realness and to the emotion of the song. Cool, then let's look at the chords very quickly. So I'm going to just load up the piano for this. I can play a little bit. So we're in C major. Very simple melody there. Going to F. So the fourth chord of C major. Going to A minor, the sixth chord of C major. Using a passing chord, which is the seventh chord, so B diminished. And here and there, I think I'm going to G7, so the fifth, the dominant chord. But that to me has more of a sound, like of a traditional classical sound, and it's like, you know, the end of the song. So I quite like this. It's got a lovely kind of seventh chord of the scale vibes there. I'm doing something a bit more interesting, and I'm modulating there to the minor third. So it goes basically from C major to E flat major. It's quite an effective kind of chord change there. Sorry, key change. And I'm preparing a little bit, so I want to hint on it that I'm switching the key there. So we're here on C major chord, and then I'm going C augmented. The A flat is already part of the new chord. Then I'm kind of going back, but it already gives a little color of what might come. And I'm going, and that's B flat, and that's the fifth already of the new key of E flat major. Could do the seventh. And then there we are, landing in the middle bit. C minor, sixth chord, 5, 1. Again, 6, 5. I'm doing a little insert of the third there, and then it repeats here 2 times, going from the 5, 3, 1. And then slightly more hopeful again, preparing to go back. And then I'm just kind of doing a chromatic approach there, like it's the fifth, but we're not going back here. We're going... And then we're back into C major, and then another round of... And then last but not least, the mix here. I usually group my sections. So here the piano, I've sent all to bus 20 here. I'm summarizing this, alt grand. I have a bit of a mix bus compression on there, Cenozoics, not really kind of kicking in that much. It's just a subtle... Takes off like 1 or 2 dBs here and there for the peaks. Then I'm grouping the strings, of course, as well, bus number 10. And there I'm doing, again, a little bit of compression as well. Just slow attack, you know, not really altering the sound much, just leveling things out. And then I'm having quite a heavy EQ on there. I'm taking out 8 dBs around 2K, and that's purely a creative choice without, it sounds like this. It's literally just pushing the whole thing a little further back and lets the piano shine through a little bit better. And I'm just kind of a big fan of this sound, and that's purely creative why I'm taking this out there. A little bit of master reverb there. For my master reverb, I'm using the Pro R. 3.28 seconds, not too big. It's my own preset that I've here created, but I think I'm using the Vienna Hall or another type of hall, and then from the preset I'm usually finding my way to my own setting there. Then we have the Flugelhorn. It's only one part, but I like to then in the end just balance things right there on my mix buses. So that's why I'm sending it here to 21. Again, a bit of EQ there, taking out around 2K, a little bit. Probably thought it would make it sound much warmer. And here again, Cenozoics, compression there. Not really taking much off, just in the end making sure that everything is more or less balanced. I'm also making sure that the peaks aren't wildly different. So if you have like a drum hit that peaks at like -5 and everything else is at -15, then it really is going to hit that limiter, and it's going to kind of throw off your mix. The choir here, same thing, sending it through a bus, soft compression there. Again, you can hear, you can see, I usually start from a preset wide vocal there, and then from there I listen to the sound, because I feel they developed this thing, and it's most likely tested, etc. So I think it's always a good setting to start from a preset, and then use your ears and start tweaking thresholds and attacks, etc. And yeah, tweak it to your liking basically. The bass also goes through there. Number 22, I know, again, it's only one track, but so I have all the levels back here. It's like my mixing desk and my mixing outboard, basically. And here I have percussion, bus number 24. Again, here I had to turn it down quite a lot for the reason that the drums were just poking out too much, but now they're nicely tucked into the mix. And And I usually mix things compared individually to my main element. So my main element is the piano, so that's going to be there, and I'm then going to adjust the drums so they sound good with the piano. Then I'm adjusting the strings so that they sound good with the piano, and in the end I put everything together and do literally some minor tweaks here to bring everything to kind of my taste and how I want it to be mixed. My master chain, Sinusoids, compression on there. Complicated name, I always struggle to say this. Sinusoids. Just a bit of a multi-band compression, so if things hit harder around 500 hertz, which that's where things get muddy and unclear, so it just takes out a little bit, just in case there's a build-up. I use 2 compressors here, one at minus 0.05 ceiling, so it still lets some stuff through, and it's not a hard limiter there, and this one is just making sure it's limiting at -1. And then here I have an isotope inside, and just make sure the integrated LUFs are between like 14 and 16. That's sort of the streaming standards, I'd say, these days, and it just gives me kind of an assurance that I'm operating in the right loudness level, and it's not too loud or too quiet. So yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions or want to chat about anything, please leave the comments below, and I see you next time. Thank you very much. Bye bye.